Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Oh, shit. Alright, here we go. That's right. Kael is not the best starter. You heard it here. Now, today I'm going to talk about my starter champion and why I selected my starter champion and what that led to as far as my early to mid game progression. I'm going to show you guys how I have my Aethel built now as opposed to talking about how I built Aethel back then. So the star of the show today, whenever this wants to catch up a little bit, is this lady right here, Aethel. So I did a bit of research when I was coming into this game. Okay, I wanted to start off with my best foot forward. I did some looking around at what people thought of the best starting champion, and almost across the board, the answer is Kael. Every single time, Kael, Kael, Kael. Yeah, poison champion. Good damage. Don't get me wrong, Kael is really, really good. He is probably in most situations going to be the best starter champion for you to go with because he gives you a main poisoner early on that does really well in clan boss, and that's something hard to find. I acknowledge that. My situation was a little different. I'm a battle pass baby. My account came out during the last battle pass era, and with that I was able to pick up some heavy hitters like clan boss titans like Frozen Banshee and Stagnite, most notably. Now, these two champions, like Frozen Banshee, completely invalidates Kael. She's the same affinity as him. She does his job as a poisoner way better, like probably somewhere around 3 times better. In any case, so Kael would be then kind of relegated into a arena nuker build, right? Like that's the only thing he can really do besides be a main poisoner. I guess he'll help you push through dragon, but for the most part, I picked Aethel. As I saw, Aethel is the most common like second option that people would recommend. And after looking their kits over, I felt that Aethel's kit just had the most long game utility to me. Like Kael ultimately, no matter what role you delegate him into or what role you build him for, he gets replaced. Like I mean, so does Aethel arguably, but for the what Aethel brings, it's a lot harder to replace her. She's got a 3-hit A1. Multi-hit champions like this, especially that reliably bring the big weaken debuff, that's a big deal. This is a hard to find buff that, especially in reliable application. And alongside the 3-hit, having multi-hit champions is a gate into Fire Knight content. So she was, is going to be paramount for pushing through your Fire Knight. And I'm glad that I picked Aethel early on. It ended up working out really to my favor. I still went through the standard progression though of building Aethel to do everything. My initial build with Aethel, she was in full life steal, and I had set her up as a more tanky support build with speed. So her gear was a percent defense chest, the believe I was running her in percent crit rate gloves at that point. The speed boots and accuracy, defense. I had her really bulky because she was in my clan boss build. She needed to be good in my clan boss build, which lifesteal plus the giant slayer mastery um, returns a ton of health. So she was really good, really survivable. She brought the weaken debuff for my team and she self buffs. The self buffing attack is actually really good. She gets a free turn off of it, so it's not like it offsets her damage or anything like that. The only thing that's a bit of a problem with this ability and these abilities across the board is outrunning your buffs. Um, that's kind of one of like the little background things that you don't think about, but that when a character takes an extra turn off of their ability, their buffs still wear off. So if you have a character like if Aethel has, for example, my Mashalad's crit rate or crit damage buff on her, and then she extra turns and puts up her attack, that crit damage is going to fall off when she extra turns. It kind of sucks, but it's something to think about when you're putting her into clan boss builds and things like that. But I still did. She was in clan boss. She helped me push through dragon. She helped me push through fire knights. She basically did everything for me. She farmed my food for me. Um, you really want to dump a ton of resources into your first built character, your starter, and get them into that super jack of all builds kind of setup where you're pushing lifesteal gear. You get their full mastery, so you get the return off of the mastery procs, the healing return off of that. It's a big deal. It's a big chunk of their sustain for late game. You put them in the percent defense that you can get, and then as much accuracy as you can, just to get them up to like 200 accuracy or so, and they're going to be successful for you across the board and wherever and all the content that you need them to be. All right, fixed. So you want to get into as much accuracy as you can. I think the general rule that people look at is you want to have about 10 times the dungeon level you're after. So Dragon 10, 100 accuracy right around. I try and push as much accuracy as I can into their build though until I get them up to 190 to 200, because I mean those are the numbers that you're gonna need, and it sucks to have to like go back and keep reworking more accuracy into somebody's build. You can see right now she's actually not fully built. Here, let me quickly find a decent chest for her, but a lot of that is again because she kind of falls off of use in like the late game. I've got her in my 3v3 roster. That's pretty good right there. I think that might be a little overkill on. No, that's perfect because she gets a 15% extra crit from her A2 when she does that. So this is pretty solid. This is like her late game build. But when you're doing your early to mid game build, you don't want to have her this lean. You want to have her much bulkier, much more heavy defense. I am running a defense chest here, but I'm probably going to move her into an attack chest because in the place where I use her, which is just 3v3 arena, the only thing that matters is damage anymore. And that's kind of because, well, that's the way she goes towards the late game. For masteries, I did masteries based off of like a clan boss build. Like her initial kind of setup was clan boss. Um, I did grab the Stoke to Fury setup, methodical over here, and then down to Master Hexer over on the right. This this is one of my first mastery setups. I'm pretty happy with it. I know I needed to get Giant Slayer in the build. I did want to get Stoke Fury and Violence. This skill is really huge still, having that reset on her big damage. So Clan Boss, she was great for bringing weaken and good sustain. But that was really all she did. So she eventually got replaced by my man Bulwark. Um, Bulwark brings a smaller weaken, but he brings debuff extension and HP burn, which is way more valuable overall just for one slot in a clan boss. So I ended up bringing Bulwark. I built him up. Right now he's also missing a chest because he's also been shelved. It happens. No, I'm still going to use this guy in Faction Wars, but yeah, he actually also kind of got subbed out. It happens, especially with Clan Boss. I built a lot of champions, particularly for Clan Boss here. So once I transitioned into the late game with April, and I no longer needed lifesteal gear on her, I switched her into this way leaner setup where I'm running attack set, cruel set, speed set, and a lower amount of accuracy because I don't really care as much about I mean, honestly, it's because I have a trash banner. But if I had the opportunity, I would waste accuracy less still because uh, her weaken application is not what she does in the arena. She self buffs and blows shit up, and if she doesn't blow shit up, she dies. So like her weaken application really doesn't matter too much now that she's transitioned to this arena build. Early on, I was running percent defense gloves on her. Right now, I'm running these attack percent. This just ended up being how the build went, and now I can probably move her into some crit damage, and I think I will look to. But as far as where she is right now, I'm okay with this. It's a good item. I wanted to make some use out of it, and for what she does, like I said, I don't put a huge amount of stock in my arena 3v3 arenas just yet. Don't quite have good rosters just yet, but I'm getting there. Once I build probably two or three more, get the gear really to build two or three more arena oriented champions, basically more speed boosters. Um, I'll be able to hit the 3v3s, and I'll definitely put out some content about that. So Aethel was critical for getting me through Fire Knights. I can't impress enough just how good this champion was because she brings the 3 hit. She brings really solid damage on the waves, and she brings Weaken, which early game Weaken actually contributes more damage overall than decreased defense. It's only towards like the mid to late game that decreased defense becomes more valuable for your team. So early on, Weaken's actually really, really big. But as far as getting up to Fire Knight 20, Aethel was huge. I used her every single stage all the way up to Fire Knight 20. And that is where she's kind of useless now because she's the weak affinity to red. She'd get dumpstered a lot. It's just not worth bringing her. She did the weak hits and getting targeted a lot with her lean build that she's in right now. Ain't good. So she can't really help out there anymore, but she served her purpose of getting me to that point. And that's why I was very happy that I picked her as my starter. Now that she's on my 3v3 teams, I mean, I can show that real quick. Again, this is a back burner project. I do not put a lot of stock in my 3v3 teams, but I do play it a little bit here and there. So right now I'm running, this is like kind of like my core team minus my Charlotte. And then the second setup, I've got this my Control Husk and my Light Sworn. This is where the teams start kind of getting more slapped together. This is alright though. This team actually does really well. And then my third team, I've got kind of the increased attack, ultimate Gaelic, and Aethel War Priest. Like if I replaced one of these two with a speed booster or something like that, this would be a really good team. But I don't have one of those just yet. I'll probably end up building up a high Katoon I got from daily login rewards. It's just kind of like a back burner project. I'm not too worried about this right now. I do collect the daily. There we go. The daily fragments for this guy. I'm not going to get him in quite 100 days, but still right around there, and that'll be kind of cool just to get another free legendary that I won't have the books to build. Now, speaking of books, I am saving for Kreela. That has been the plan that's been decided. I'm really looking forward to building her up. I did lean and fix her build a little more. I'm actually a lot happier with where she's ended up now. I got her up to exactly 70% crit. One of those little pet peeve things I hate being over on crit, where I know a certain crit percentage is all that's necessary. It does bug me. I try and fix that when I can. So I did that by switching her into this defense, speed, and attack piece. Just good stats across the board. She's gonna need this since she's gonna be in my clan boss team. I needed to make sure she's gonna have enough percent defense. And then this, like, super across the board. You notice a trend with all my items. I never get triple rolls. It's always this ridiculousness right here. I have no luck with good triple rolls and quad rolls on legendaries. Save here across the board. But this character is going to hit really hard. And with the self buffs and once her gear's fixed up, I can't wait to put this character together. And all it's going to take is some books. I'm going to need to get, to be honest with you guys, I don't have a lot of legendary books. I mean, that's kind of part of the game, right? I've got some ways I can push to get some more, but as it stands, I'm on 3, and that's a ways out from being able to look at booking this chick. So hopefully I get lucky on my nightmare chests here in the near future, and I pick up a couple more. But as soon as I'm able to, I'm definitely going to bring that content out. That is going to be a big day for my clan boss team too. I'm gonna have to like retune a bunch of speeds to make her work, but hopefully I can do some crazy damage on nightmare. It should be fun. Um, we got these champion buffs and nerfs coming up. I could do a big thing about this. I mean, if you guys want to, I'll do a big thing about this. But I looked across the list and I've got a few things to say. For one, I am thrilled. Thank you, Plarium. Thank you. Thank you. You're fixing your game. I do appreciate that. That's cool. Thank you. Now that we got that out of the way, this is going to be a big deal. Like the changes they're sweepingly across the board, changing basically every top tier legendary in the game. Now for me, I ain't got none of them. So hey, we're looking good, right? No, but this is gonna make a lot of people upset. Particularly, a lot of people have these champions. They're gonna be upset about the Madam Cerise changes. I think it's gonna be a big thing. I've complained about Madam before. She does need to be retuned. It's just so boring playing against her. She's in literally every single team in the arena, and her kit's far too strong for what one ability. She needs just to have that. I think moving the debuff strip over to one of her other abilities would probably be the main way to get it done. Just having all of that loaded into one spot in her kit is just pretty silly. Other than that, though, Draco, we gonna have some mad people about Draco nerfs, man. We got a lot of people crushing real hard on Draco right now. I'm sorry for him. It is what it is. Then who else? Sifi and Rotos. I mean, we knew that was coming. We knew that was coming. Like these guys are too good. They're too strong. They've basically marginalized all the other majority of the rest of the champions in the game. That doesn't make a fun meta game, to be honest. I'm looking forward to a lot of these champions getting cut back enough to make other champions become relevant again, and just cause more diversity and interesting team makeups to play around with. That's exciting to me. So that's hopefully what this does overall. Um, I think they probably should have broke this down a bit more. Done smaller chunks, not this massive sweep of a ton of champs all at once. That's going to be a ton of work catching back up just from the backlash of all these changes. So might be something to look at, trying to break these up a little more over time and kind of roll more with the buffs, nerfs, and adjusting these changes. Uh, and we got the 2 times void coming up. Let me show you guys what I care about that. Right. So if they come up with another event that I have some relevant interest in, I'll do content about it, but not that one. So it's been Applejack here, and you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here.